Turn up the AC hot takes. You know what it is, it's your boy Fernando Jr. Vargas Dynasty going up. Don't act like you don't know. We're the only three brothers that really running shit in the boxing game.
Welcome to another installment of Turn Up the AC Hot Takes with Reason on a solo edition. Now, we're going to jump into this one. As you can see, we're talking about the Riyadh season card going down this Saturday, November 22nd. At the time of this recording, it's Thursday, November 20th, almost 6 in the morning. Now, let's talk about it, man. We're gonna break down the four fights on the main card, give you my prediction, and a little bit about why I think this person's going to win. So we're going to start out with the first fight on the card, and that's Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. Two undefeated, young, hungry fighters. Noakes is 28 in this bout, and then Abdullah Mason comes in at 21 years old. Both undefeated. Abdullah Mason is 19-0 with 17 knockouts. Sam Noakes is 17-0 with 15 knockouts. Now, this fight, I think there's a sizable gap in the skill and the talent, but Sam Noakes is no slouch. He's no pushover. I think he's gonna push Mason and early. And if Noakes is gonna have any type of shot, he's gonna have to get off to a fast start, an early start, and rack up rounds early on Abdullah Mason. But I just don't see that happening because I think Abdullah Mason is a future star in boxing, pound for pound star. I think he's going to be a big deal over the next few years. Like I said, he's only 21. And I think between him and Sam Noakes, I think Abdullah Mason, he's a southpaw. Noakes is orthodox, I believe. That along with just I think as we get towards the middle of the fight, we're going to start to see the talent and the separation start to show itself. So much, in fact, that I think by the middle rounds, we might get to a point where it's like, oh, we're approaching it. You know what I mean? I think Abdullah Mason, as the fight goes on, I think he's going to get comfortable. And I think he's gonna put on a performance, a spectacular performance. And I think that spectacular performance, he's gonna close it out with a knockout. So I got Abdullah Mason defeating Sam Noakes in the first fight on the card, on the pay-per-view card of the Riyadh season. I got him by knockout. I'm gonna say we're gonna go round 8. We're gonna go round 8. Abdullah Mason stops Sam Noakes. And that's my prediction for the first fight. So now we're going to jump into the second fight. See, one thing about this whole card, from top to bottom, I think this might be the best card of the year. If not, it's definitely up there in the conversation. Off the top of my head, of course. We got current pound-for-pound stars and future pound-for-pound stars on this card. Abdullah Mason being one of them, I think, potentially. Abdullah Mason has the abilities to be a number one, top two, pound-for-pound fighter in the world in the next, I say 4 to 5 years. We could definitely see him up there at the top. So we're going to move on to the second fight, and that's another person who I think we can see on the pound-for-pound rankings for a long time. He is there already in my book, Bam Bam Rodriguez. He's going up against Fernando Martinez. This fight is at 115. It's for everything except for the IBF. So the WBA strap, WBC, WBO, and Ring Magazine, which the WBA strap, I think, is the one that Fernando Martinez has, if I'm not mistaken. He did have the IBF, but he got stripped, I believe is what happened with that situation. And Bam Rodriguez, if you don't know him, you gonna know him by the end of this weekend. Bam Rodriguez, I think he's going to put on a spectacular performance. Now, I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think, once again, like the first fight, Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, I think as the fight goes on, we're going to see Bam separate himself. You got people out here who call Bam the perfect fighter because he can box, he can power, he'll walk you down. Like, he does it all in the ring. Power on both hands. Bam Rodriguez is 22-0 with 15 knockouts. I keep looking over because I have the records right there. I don't want to mess it up. And then Fernando Martinez, he's 18-0 with 9 knockouts. Now this fight, Martinez is gonna have to like pressure. He's gonna have to dig deep. He's gonna have to put on a clinic, put on a performance that we haven't seen him put on. Right now, though, no matter who he's fighting, unless it's like Inoue, it's going to be tough to pick somebody to beat Bam Rodriguez right now. And I'm not going to do it. I got Bam Rodriguez winning this fight. I'm going to go round 7. I think same thing with Abdullah Mason. By the middle of the fight, we're going to start to see the separation start to show itself. I think Fernando Martinez goes down in the first 4 rounds once, and then he gets stopped in round 7. So I got Bam Rodriguez winning this fight, round 7, stoppage, and he's going to continue to solidify his pound-for-pound position. Like I said, I got Bam Rodriguez in the top 10 pound-for-pound. And once this card completes, I'm going to give you my top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. My top 3 are just like everybody else's probably. Crawford, number 1. I got Inoue at number 2. And then Usyk at number 3. Crawford, number 1, right now has to be number 1. And then 2 and 3, I think, are interchangeable with, Usyk and Inoue. I also got, like I said, I got Bam very high on that list. So I ain't going to give you the rest of that list. So I got to give you the top 3 because I think those top 3 are pretty universal right now. Unless you're just a hater or you're biased. I think the top 3 are kind of universal with Terence Crawford, Inoue, and Usyk. Just this, obviously the order is what you would change for the top 3. So those are my 2 picks for the first 2 fights. Abdullah Mason in round 8, and then Bam Rodriguez in round 7, both by stoppage. Now, in my opinion, the toughest fight to call on this card, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney moving up to 147. His first fight. His last fight, he fought a catchweight of 144 against Jose Ramirez on the Times Square card. Not a good performance. Definitely worthy of the criticism that he's getting over the past 6 months. Brian Norman Jr. is very strong. Strong left hand, strong hook. The reason why this fight, in my opinion, is the toughest of the fights to call is because we don't know where Devin Haney's at mentally. Now, the Ryan fight was a no contest, but he went through it. He got dropped 3 times. Probably got manhandled in the ring more than he's ever been in his life. So for a fighter to go through something like that, granted, it was a no contest because Ryan Garcia popped for a banned substance. That's still going to make it tough for someone like, for Devin Haney, because even though it was a no contest about Ryan, he's still technically undefeated. He didn't look good against Jose Ramirez. He did a lot of running in that fight. And because of that, now everyone thinks Devin Haney's a runner. He's not. Let's be real. Devin Haney fights in the pocket more times than not. Really the only fight he's ever ran was against Jose Ramirez, and he won every single round in a shutout. Boring, but a shutout. Brian Norman Jr. strong, coming off a knockout of the year candidate against Saki, I think his name was. He fought in Japan, and he caught him with a left hook, vicious. And that left hook is what I'm scared of for Devin Haney, because if Devin Haney hasn't fixed a bow and arrow when he throws his jab, I think I've always thought the people that could beat a Devin Haney is an athlete. Somebody with quick hands, somebody like Brian Norman Jr., somebody like Ryan Garcia, who can match your athleticism, who can match your quickness, and throw a left hand in there as you're jabbing. That's why this fight is the toughest for me to call, because I think the mental game of Devin Haney is the biggest question mark going into this fight. Now, if this fight took place before Devin fought Ryan, I'd have no problem picking Devin Haney to win this fight. I'm still picking Devin, and just to give you a little reminder of why, I'm going to give you a little bit why. I think Devin's going to fight in the pocket. If Devin Haney's mentally strong, mentally ready for this fight, I think we're going to see Devin Haney in his bag. I think we could see, if Devin Haney's on his P's and Q's, I see a Devin who's on his front foot, throwing a jab, using the ring generalship, throwing the 1-2, doubling, tripling up on a jab, figuring out Brian Norman's timing. I think Devin Haney's a superior boxer. I think skill-wise, Devin Haney's superior. But even with all that, Devin's going to have to be confident and willing to exchange when he needs to with Brian Norman Jr. Because I think Brian's going to eventually try to walk him down. Because I think Brian Norman Jr. believes he's just as skilled as Devin Haney. So I think we could potentially see somewhat of a chess match early while both the guys figure out what's going on. You know, figure out what's going to be the right way to attack. So I think if Devin's able to keep the fight at range, use his jab, and we could see a very strong Devin Haney. And if the weight cut for Devin Haney affected him as much as I think it did for his power, I think we could see some pop at the end of his jab. And then if Devin is on and he's using his jab, he's on his front foot, doing the little Floyd with it, you know what I'm saying? Throwing his jab, leaning with his arm a little bit and throwing him up. And I think we could see the strongest Devin Haney we've ever seen in this fight. Because of being at 147, I think we're gonna see some pop from Devin Haney. Will that be enough to keep Brian Norman Jr. honest? That's gonna be tough. But on the flip side, if Devin is not Devin and he looks anything like he did against Jose Ramirez, it could get ugly for Devin Haney. And if that happens, Brian Norman Jr. is going to smoke him and knock him out. But I'm banking on Devin being in the right mental capacity. And I think he can control the fight with his jab. And his right hand could be a big, big weapon in this fight. So with all that being said, if Devin's on his mental game like I think he's going to be, I hope he's going to be, I got Devin Haney winning by unanimous decision in a close fight. 115, 113, 116, 112. Somewhere in that range, I think it's going to be a really good fight. But I think the skills of Devin is going to be what brings it home for him. So I got Devin Haney winning by unanimous decision over Brian Norman Jr. and becoming your new WBC welterweight champion. Now, David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. Hell of a fight. Banger alert. Main event. David Benavidez has a hit list. We talked about it in a previous video. But this is the first step on that hit list. If Devin gets past Anthony Yarde, we got the potential for a better BF, Bivol, Zerto, Ramirez at cruiserweight, and Jai Opetaia at cruiserweight. But to get there, we got to get through this bit of business. And I think David Benavidez he's going to put on a show. I think Benavidez is going to become a household name, more so in the fact where I think he's going to get respect after this fight. Because one thing about Benavidez, for his size, he moves very well. He throws a lot of punches. Anthony Yarde, on the other hand, big dude, strong dude, stiff. Not the best mover in there, not the best movement in the ring. So early, if Yarde doesn't, I'm going to say within 4 or 5 rounds, if Yarde can't hurt Benavidez, I think Benavidez turns it up. Early in the fight, I want to see David Benavidez box a little bit. Because I think if he comes out and uses his jab and boxes a little bit, I think he can piece up Anthony Riyadh. But Riyadh's very strong. So he's a live dog in this fight. But I just think David Benavidez is too skilled. I think David Benavidez is, within the next year to 2 years, is going to be a top 5 pound-for-pound star in boxing. And I think after this fight, Benavidez and Bivol has to happen next. If it's not, better be Evan Bivol. And for my prediction for Benavidez and Riyadh, if Benavidez is able to come out early, work his jab a little bit, box Riyadh early in the first half, take minimal damage in the first 4 or 5 rounds, I think he turns it on as the fight goes on, rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, throws a lot more punches in bunches, and I think he can stop Riyadh in round 10. So I'm going to go David Benavidez stopping Anthony Riyadh in round 10. So my predictions for these fights, I got Abdullah Mason by 8th round knockout, Bam Rodriguez 7th round knockout, Devin Haney by decision, and then I got David Benavidez stopping Anthony Riyadh in round 10. So let me know, man. Tell me why I'm wrong. I just gave you the breakdown of all the 4 fights on the main card. Looking forward to it. 2 days away, man. So, yo, let me know in the comments. Drop them, man. Let me know. We here. We talking about it. It's boxing. And like I said, once this card is over, I'm going to do a top 10 pound-for-pound fighters, and we uploading that before the weekend's over. So, until next time, this has been Reason. Turn up the AC Hot Takes. I got Abdullah Mason, Bam Rodriguez, David Benavidez, and Devin Haney all coming out victorious this weekend. Like I said, man, tell me why I'm wrong, and tell me why you think Brian Norman's going to knock off Devin Haney's block. Or tell me why any of those other guys can pull off the upset as well, man. Until next time, Reason, turn up the AC Hot Takes.